I think my child's balls have dropped.
Don't show dad what I'm wearing, but is this alright? Then dad be like, oh, Chisel, I can see you.
She looks at me and then she says, Daddy, what's that poo-poo there? Yeah, I said,
Well, guys,
Hi.
sorry we've taken a while. Let me start with that. Sorry we've taken a while. So we're back with Ourjoint episode 3. I'm Saf.
I'm Chloe, and this is Ourjoint. Today we have Corey. It's my brother, guys. It was free. It rhymes.
After that Ghana trip, we had to make little.
Hey, we got brother.
No, we're so grateful to have you. Thank you for coming. We know that you're so very busy between actually what this episode is about, between being a parent, between being a business owner, running a business, working in your business. So we're thoroughly grateful for your time, Corey. He's also my brother. When Corey gives him the too much hardness, he calls me.
And she don't even tell me about it either.
For what?
Corey be like, when I say to Sam, I'm like, what? Well, I speak to Sam and she didn't say. Achilles dead.
Yeah, get me. So, yeah, thanks for coming, Corey.
it's cool.
Today we wanted Corey here because he is a very thorough, amazing dad. He has had different types of experiences with parenting. And so we wanted to discuss parenting. I'm a parent. I'm a mother of an amazing 11-year-old king. Chloe has played a mother role, very much so. People like her are very, very important. And as I said, Corey's a dad. So we just want to delve into this topic, talk about our experiences as parents, the difficulties, the challenges, what we do different, what we wouldn't do differently, what we've learned so far, and yeah, man, what we would, I guess, change and not change. So let's get into it. Yeah. So as I said, how old's your daughter?
Mila's 5.
Oh.
5 in January. Yeah.
Like I literally remember when she was born. Yeah. Oh my.
Quick.
Very much so.
My little princess.
Big up Milo, man. Serious. How's it going so far?
It's going good, you know.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, yeah, it's going seamlessly well.
What's the best thing about raising Nyla?
I would genuinely say seeing her develop.
Yeah.
Just seeing her develop, just come home telling me how things went at school, like her different relationships that she's bonding, her different play dates.
Oh, I love that.
It's just, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, now that these kids are active.
Yeah, you see how he woke up though, but you see how he woke up when he's talking about it. That's what I love to see dads so engrossed and so like passionate about their children. That's amazing, especially black fathers. I'm sorry to say it, but for me, I think that in the time that we're in today, our children need us more than ever. And not just as parents, our children need the community. They need their grandparents, they need their aunties, their uncles, their godparents. Chloe's a godmother to my son. She plays an amazing role to him. I'm very grateful for everything. Big up, Kai Kai.
We love it.
And yeah, I think I'm going to say the same thing, you know. That's my favorite thing about watching Kai develop and grow, is all those things that he enjoys, all the things he's excited to tell me about. But more than anything, it's just nice to like witness the people we're growing them into. Do you understand? Like when you can really take credit for an amazing little human being, it's best thing in the world. Definitely.
And the way they are with their kids is like their best friends. Corey, Safira, I'll be on the phone with her like, Kai, and then like, she'll be chatting to Kai like he's mandem. Kai, I love it.
Oh my guy.
Yeah, reason, and the same thing with Nai. I'm always like, yeah, I don't think Nile even gets told off by you, mate.
Nah, she definitely does.
Oh, she does. Oh, that's joke.
She
Nyla.
definitely does. Because sometimes she can be a bit too princessy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Kind of rein her
Really?
in. Nah, honestly, if you don't rein her in, then later on down the line,
Does your
she's
dad
just
still
gonna
rein
go
Chloe
wild.
in?
I don't know, that's between them.
Sometimes you need it, Corey.
Couple times you have to rein me in, but that's the big dog. That's daddy.
Yeah,
That's he
100.
goes first. So whatever daddy wants, that's what it is. I still call dad for approval of things, guys, and I'm 33. Okay.
I love that though. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
I'm like, Mum, Dad, don't show Dad what I'm wearing, but is this alright? Then Dad be like, oh, Chisel, I can see you. I can see you. Oh, what's that you're wearing? Where's your clothes, mate?
Why could I see it?
That's how you do it. Oh, Chisel, oh, I can see you. Big up, Daddy.
So more than like, obviously, we're making it sound all pleasant, flowers and daisies, isn't it? It's probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do is be a parent. The most amazing thing I've ever had the blessing and the honor of doing, because he's not mine. You know, he's of this world, isn't he? He's not in it. He's definitely of it. And I'm not just raising my son. I'm raising someone's husband, someone's brother, someone's father. You know, which is probably one of the most important roles in the world, is being a parent, isn't it? So I'm raising that person to be that person to another person, you know. And I found my time doing it challenging, because I think I've had to, as you know, play both roles a lot of times. You know, I've had to play mum and dad. You know, it's not important to me to get into why.
Yeah.
You know, what's important to me is that God's given me the strength and resilience to be able to do so. But more than anything, I'm very grateful for my dad, for my support system. You know, for his granddad on his dad's side as well, and uncles and godfathers, and also his father. You know, where they can and where they have assisted me in absolutely raising a brilliant human being in a very challenging world. You know, so yeah, that's been the biggest challenge for me. I mean, I think my child's balls have dropped.
She caught us off guard. All of us got caught off guard. I thought you was gonna say something even more serious. Corey went,
that's quite serious, you know. Like,
Corey was like, what are you saying this?
I don't know, like, all right, so
like, Safira talks to Kai like, she'd be like,
we're very direct and transparent, like, do you get it? And like, I'm very thorough with my child, Corey, do you understand? Like, he's known for a long time what private parts are. You're not to touch other people's private parts, and other people's are not to touch yours. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. And so for me, so I had to go, all right, so he kind of panicked. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't panic, he was kind of like, he was in the bath one day, and he's like, Mom, and obviously I'm cooking, so I'm like, son, he's like, can you come? When do you need me in the bathroom? You ain't need me in the bathroom for like 2-3 years now, like, what's going on? So I've gone in there now, and he's like, Mom, he's like, don't, like, just stay calm, okay? So I'm like, what are you telling me while you're in the bath, my G? Like, do you get it? Like, what's going on? So I'm like, you know how I am already. I'm like, Karen, talk. Like, I get anxious, innit? He's like, but Mom, promise me you're going to stay calm. I'm like, hurry up, Karen. He's like, Mom, but I need your face to be soft. I was like, hurry up, Karen. He's like, Mom, like, it's funny, it looks different. I said, what do you mean it's funny, it looks different? He goes, I don't know, Mom, like, it's just a bit different. I said, stand up, let me see. He goes, no. I said, so what am I in there for? He's like, Mom, but like, is that what's meant to happen? I said, what? Show me. So anyway, he stood up, and I realized there's hair growing as well.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. He was talking about like, so there's hair growing as well. So I'm like, okay, you're becoming a young man, right? And then, I know you remember that phone call.
Yeah, I do, but it's so mad you're saying that, because I was going to say, as a mum parenting a son, what's your challenges? Because you're not a man, let's keep it a buck. Yeah, you're a single mum.
I'm a single parent in that household.
Staff has to like, I'm sure all mothers with sons know, like, you're going to have to do man role, because how do you, because we did, like, in my head I'm thinking, wow, like, what do we say? Because
I didn't know what to say,
yeah, that's not our experience, right?
So, of course, I rang my dad. And I'm like, Dad, he's got hair. He's like, okay, are they like sagging? I said, yeah, man, like, what's going on? He's like, his balls have dropped. Yeah, I was like, what does that mean? He goes, it means his voice is going to break soon. Like, it means he's going to keep growing hair in areas. So I'm like, Chiron, like, lift up your arm. Papa G said, like, lift up your arm. So he lift up his arm. I see little hair in the armpits. I said, no, I'm not ready for this, man. Yeah. Like, I'm not ready. When did this happen, bro? Like, this is not it. Do you know what I'm saying, Corey? So, yeah. Like, being a mum to a son, it can be challenging if you are not educated. I grew up with more sisters in the household than I did brothers. I had 2 brothers in the household, so, you know, and they're younger than me, so they never come to show me their balls dropping. Do you know what I mean?
For real. I didn't even know it was a thing. I'm not even gonna lie.
Bro,
did you experience that?
Yeah.
Do you remember when it happened?
I don't remember when it happened, but it definitely happened.
Whoa.
I'll be honest, I think it was the period when I was in Jamaica.
Oh,
That,
was you
that,
a
that
month
long,
though?
that long period. When I came back, remember I was a lot taller as well.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was that period.
Listen, we're looking at it like, right, this is alien to us because I didn't know it was a
No,
thing.
because their balls drop and our menstrual cycle starts. That's the equivalent for us, yeah, effectively, yeah.
All right, cool. So going back to my story now, in terms of us bringing Nyla up, we wanted to make sure that we're very open with like our sexual parts and things like that. So there was a time when I was having a shower, door was open, no problem at all. So then Nyla walks in, and then she looks at me and then she says, "Daddy, what's that poo poo there?" I said. At first, I was a little bit shocked. At first, I was a little bit shocked. I didn't know how to take it, but I took a step back and I had to explain to her fully what it is and obviously what the difference is.
So you stopped your shower?
No, obviously I'm still in the shower.
Okay.
Like, obviously I said it's my penis, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when I got out the shower, then I fully explained. But of course, her mum's always telling her what a vagina is, but she's never seen a penis.
Of course.
But at the same time, who's to show her a penis if it's not going to be me?
Facts.
Is it going to be some random stranger?
No.
Is it going to be some boy like the first penis she sees?
Yeah, 100%.
Nah, no way. It's going to be mine.
100%.
It sounds so crazy and wild, but she needs to know exactly what it is, like what it's used for, and sex as well. Like why are we not teaching them a little bit younger so they know?
That has to start at home, Corey. Because
Exactly.
they're doing it in school and they're doing too much in school.
Exactly.
We'll get onto that. I completely agree with that. My dad was the exact same. So in our household, there was no like shame when it came to. I was not shocked when I saw a penis outside of my yard for the first time. Put it that way. Do you get what I'm trying to say? My dad had already told me that's a penis. Don't let it inside of you. Told me every single thing. I don't think I'm that. He told me straight. He goes, "This is a penis. Don't let it inside of you, or else you're gonna have enough of these, including you." I said, "Huh?" He goes, "Yeah. Also, hella diseases. Like it will kill you inside. It will rot you on it." He traumatized me. Like I didn't lose my son until I was nearly 18. And my brethren was walking from young. Do you understand? Big up you lot. But
It weren't me.
No, not her.
Yeah, because she got
Nah,
other friends too.
definitely
You know
not.
that? Don't count me in the thing.
me and Chloe were the slow. What do they call it?
Like,
The
I
slow
was even in
bloomers.
my 20s. Yeah, this is the realist.
Right.
Okay.
So I agree with that. I think it's so important as parents that we teach them about private parts, the importance of keeping people away from them, especially at their unconsensual age.
Yeah.
And also them learning how to respect other people's private parts.
100%. And also respect their own as well.
More than anything. That's
100%.
it. More than anything. And I think it should start at home. I think it's all part of education. And just like you did with Nyla, my dad did with all his daughters. Do you know what I mean? He taught us himself, as my mum did with the boys. And I think that's why my little brothers have such an immense respect for women and their bodies, and respecting their boundaries. I think that's like, it's so important that we're not bubbled at home. There's a lot of people that grow up in a sort of a umbrella. Do you know what I mean? They're under this umbrella for the whole of their lives,
100%.
and then when they step outside, it's like, oh shit. Then do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So again, another reason is because I think the schools are doing too much.
When you say the schools, what the pupils,
curriculum.
The curriculum, I think you lot should be more focused on updating the educational curriculum where maths is concerned, adding more languages to it, science, you know, etc., etc. You know, adding more variety to religious studies and things like that as well.
Because what we
like,
learned was enough.
Thank you.
Like when
but
we
now,
was in school, it was enough.
Do you get it?
We understood.
We understood. But no. Now they want to be telling our kids. Like, you can teach them biology and how babies are made, of course. Like, why shouldn't they know that stuff? But now they're telling children, like, oh, I don't know, I'm trying not. All right, let me try and be politically correct.
Yeah.
I think there are certain things pertaining to sexuality that children under 13 do not need to know about. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
People's sexuality, their choices, who their sexual partners are, etc., etc. I don't believe children under 13, I don't believe it's imperative for them to know that information. It does not implicate or affect their lives.
At that time.
At that time.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? I appreciate the world is new, it's developing at the moment. To me, it feels like a new world, if I'm honest with you. It doesn't feel like the world I grew up in.
But that's what they're calling it, the new world.
The new world, exactly. And so I am very, very cautious about how much information my sponge, because he is a sponge still, and so is Nyla. I'm very, very concerned about the level of information that he is.
But you know what's crazy, yeah? Let me be devil's advocate here. If they're not teaching it, and let's say they're out with us and they then seeing a couple kissing, whether that's male or female, they see them kissing and they then wonder, they haven't been taught about it, so that's new to them. Who is gonna? Fair enough.
The way I would
Fair
teach
enough.
my child that is not the same dialogue
It's
that
the
they have
same
at
way,
school.
yeah.
Do you see what I'm trying to say?
I
I
get
just
that.
don't. I think that there's some things that should be limited to the home and to the parents. I just don't know why it's important for my child to know that men and women, or women and women, or men and men, you
Not
know,
at his age.
not at 11. I don't know why that's so important, because
That's not on his list.
thank you. He only needs to be concerned about football in his grades.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That does make sense.
It's too much.
Yeah, for sure.
It's definitely a touchy subject, though.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah, because I even tried to sign that little petition. Thank you for those that sent it to me. Did you see it on the Gov website? And they rejected us all.
Yeah, they
Did you
said,
get the
"No,
email?
we're gonna teach
yeah, they're
them."
gonna, oh, did you sign it? That's a joke.
I said,
They said no. And we're not going to go into too much detail, but it was about curriculum, what they're teaching the kids in them schools. And they just definitely gulagged our thing. We have bare signatures on that.
Yeah, and I just felt like, why are we not adding more? Other, like, I don't understand why that's the priority. The same way I don't understand why we have more same-sex toilets, more of those being put in various places across the world than we do disabled toilets. There's certain train stations that don't have disabled toilets yet. That's crazy to me. Like, disabled people, some people are born disabled or born with special needs. It's not a, you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, they're not facilitated. But and if that's the case, can I just say, as a woman, I would still like a woman's only toilet.
Yeah, 100%.
For
Because
safety,
it's not just
for
about
privacy,
that. Yeah.
for it, like,
There's things we want to do that we don't need the wear to be aware of.
Do you get
doesn't
it?
even make sense.
and we go in there and ball in them thing there, you lot.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes we're in nightclub, we get a bit too drunk,
Do you
think
know what I
about,
mean?
we start going there and ball. I don't need you walking in.
And harassment anyway. It's wrong. Do you get what I mean? It's just
100%.
another space they
It's
can just
true.
be jumping on us, please.
It's so true, man. I think, I'm just
I'll
a
be
bit scared
lurking
at
in the
pace.
bathroom just waiting.
In it, waiting for you to come out the cubicle.
I'm
That
just
is
sitting
mad.
there in the cubicle, in the same-sex cubicle.
And that's when all them pants start back out the toilet because everyone's singing.
That's what I'm saying. That ain't it. That ain't for me, bro.
Nah, for real.
Chloe,
Yeah.
I want to touch on where you've parented. What was the best and most challenging thing about your
Experience. I would say the best thing is being open to have kids because everyone knew before I didn't want kids. Why is everyone laughing? Not that they're a problem. I love kids. Guys, you know I love them. But just to have them and return them was perfect for me. So I think, so let me just explain the situation. Previous partner, he had kids, and obviously with that package was me to look after the kids, which I wanted to do. It was great. But yeah, it opened my mind to being open to having kids in the future. And let me not even say kids, a child in the future.
just one?
Yeah, I don't. And look at the age now. This child. Anyway, that is it. One child. The worst part of it, I wouldn't say worst, but most challenging part is finding the medium, like the respect. It concerning like, and this is no bad thing concerning like the mother of the children, just making sure that I'm outlining my boundaries. Yeah, just making sure I respect the mums, the dad, the children, just finding your balance because it's not an easy role to
Finding
be
where
in.
you fit in that space, isn't it? And where to be sort of respectful.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what the challenge is because you don't want to step on anyone's toes, but at the same time you want to have the respect. At the same time you want to feel like you're doing your role and doing it well. You don't want to just
Can I say you
be
did
there.
a fucking fantastic job?
Thank you.
Like,
I did love them. I love them children.
Yeah.
But I guess it also helps having a partner that understands so he can navigate and see your needs. So it's good to communicate because if there's anything you're unsure about, mention it. But I appreciate that because now, guys, look, I'm open to having a child. One, I'm married with my husband.
Yeah. I love that. I
Just
think you did a
very
great job,
clear.
if I'm honest with you. And I want to say, if I had to, if my Sons, I would have loved for you to be my child's stepmother. That's the best way I could put it. I think you were great at it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? You were so empathetic to the situation. You were respectful. You didn't step on anyone's toes. You were very invested in their well-being and their health, and you still are. And you care a whole lot about people anyway. So I think people like you are very, very important to children's lives. I think that we shouldn't underestimate the step or do you get what I'm trying to say? The step role. We should not underestimate that. And I think more parents need to be open to that. Do you understand? Like, I'm very open to having a healthy relationship with whoever my ex's new partner is, if that's going to benefit our children. And do you see what I'm trying to say? Especially where siblings are involved. If your ex has a child, do you know what I'm trying to say? That is so important for everybody to, hello, it's about them. It's not about us. And
I feel like if you don't want to, you have to question why.
Of course, that's a self thing, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
There's
no wrong with that, but you have to definitely look into it.
100%.
I think just be prepared. It's not. I don't think it's a decision that you should take lightly, because obviously we know the downfall of it is, unfortunately in my situation, obviously some people's might not, but mine didn't work out. So it's the break of not just him but the kids as well. And then obviously cool, you know, you met the the kids was around, merging with like my nieces, so it's hard to just do that detachment, but just be prepared for it. And I just want to say thank you to my brother-in-law, because Charlie's husband did speak to me about this. Just bear that in mind as a thing. It was hard, guys. I think I missed them more than mine.
I can imagine. That's what I'm saying. I couldn't see. That's why I'm very protective of Kai, as you know.
And that's only right. I think
I'm so protective about. Cause obviously, I've been split up from his dad for pretty much about 5 years now. I think 4 or 5 years, and I'm so cautious about bringing. Yeah, first and foremost, if it's just someone I'm linking or dating, do we say linking at our age anymore? Do we say that?
Dating? They like, it depends.
Whatever the fuck it is.
Dating.
That's off, like, my child's off limits to everyone. Anyway, I have friends that I've known my whole life that haven't met my child yet. I'll be so real, that don't know where I live. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm very protective over his space, over his energy. And so then to, like that, because I don't want my child getting attached to anyone that could potentially leave. Leaving me is one thing, but then that's 2 heartbreaks I have to deal with, mine and his. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So,
I didn't leave. People be messing up, but do you get, that's why they lost me. Let's just make that very clear, because you don't need to say nothing.
No,
just check, because you said leave. I just need to make clear, guys, that I didn't. The situation just happened.
It just ended. It ended, and that's it. It wasn't Chloe's fault. That's what it
my fault.
But that's a thing. Because if I had someone as amazing as you in my child's life, and then that we couldn't work out, that's not to do. That got nothing to do with my child. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, so how do you balance that? How do you phase that out? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Time, innit?
Crazy.
Time. You have to ease it out. I tried to ease it out. Do you remember stuff? There's a few times I've called you and I'm like, I just speak to Kai.
No.
It was alright. I'm thankful enough I was able to see him a few times just to phase it out, and it worked. But it was a good experience, because look, now I think differently. I'm more open to the idea.
Yeah, and you learn from it.
100%.
You learn a lot from it, Chloe. Yeah,
for real.
Okay, so I want to quickly also talk about Corey.
Yeah.
Do you think you've ever been in a really complicated, difficult situation where parenting is concerned? Have you been in a very complicated, difficult situation? Like, what's the most complicated, difficult situation you've been in where parenting is concerned? And how did you resolve it? How did you overcome it?
I would say the most difficult one.
Not funny.
It's not funny
Why
at
are we
all.
laughing?
Why are we laughing?
You don't will cry?
Yeah, that's a good one.
You don't have to talk
no, it's fine. I genuinely don't mind. I would say the most difficult one was finding out that my first daughter was not biologically mine. And just the process before and after that, how things kind of worked out, it was quite difficult. But I got through it and I'm here now. So
yeah, you definitely did, but I remember it being really hard.
Yeah, no, 100%. It wasn't easy at all. Was not an easy process at all. But I think what made it harder is I found out whilst I was in prison.
Yeah.
So during that process, you're not fully able to, well, of course you are behind the closed door, but out on the yard, on free flow, going to and from where you are, you can't really go through the motions. It's, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that made things a lot harder because then my processing time is literally behind my door. There's just no one else. It's just me and my thoughts.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I had. So, but I got through it though.
You did.
I got
And
through
you're
it.
definitely on the other side, and you're
Yeah.
a fantastic dad. Honestly, so proud of you.
100%.
Remember I said that's why I feel like Nile is a blessing, because it would be different to have your title as a father stripped away from you completely, but at least you still had Nyla. Remember when you was like, okay, there's some things you spoke about in my head. I just thought you see how things work.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
it
Because
without.
I could have easily gone from not being a parent. Sorry, from being a parent to not being a parent
That would have been
at all.
different.
So that would have been a completely different dynamic in itself.
How
But
would you say it implicated you mentally, and also when you came out of prison? How did it further implicate you mentally? Because I think that's the biggest battle as a parent, as a human. Period.
I'll be honest. I had a decent amount of time of my sentence to genuinely sit down and process. So it's not like I found out and then I was out within a couple of weeks or whatever. I had at least a year to go, or at least 18 months to go of my sentence to actually deal with it. But it just, the way everything worked out was crazy because my daughter was a newborn, my daughter to come. So it's like, even though I had to process it, I also had to be a father, even though I was in prison. I still had to be a father and do all of those things, you know what I mean? So I think that definitely eased me. It definitely was a form of therapy for me, you know what I mean? But yeah, it definitely wasn't easy.
And could I just say that she was 5.5 when we found out, remember?
Yeah.
So
she was 5.5.
it wasn't no new thing, guys. Like,
And it
Yeah.
affected all of you. I remember how much you cried about it, Chloe. Like, you were
Remember.
really, really upset. You were upset for Corey. You were just, it was a
hard.
big thing. Yeah.
It's almost like a mourning. You get? I felt like we were mourning.
Can I just say this, and I'm sorry if it offends anyone. I'm not, actually.
Yeah, I know.
Can we, as parents, just be more accountable for our children and our decisions? Every single thing pertaining to them affects them. Everything we do around them, like what Corey went through, didn't just affect Corey, it affected his whole family, but more importantly, it affected a child. So I just want us to just be more responsible where someone else's life is concerned. They didn't ask to be here. So yeah, man, we're raising a whole next generation, and it's so important that we just do our best. And I think the last question I have for Corey is, sorry, can I say as well, you are thriving. You are thriving. I don't know what one said. You are thriving, and it's beautiful to see. Like, it's so beautiful to see. Like, your business is thriving. You're thriving as an individual. You're thriving as a parent. Like, you're just thriving, and I just it's amazing to watch, especially because I've got a lot of love for you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I love Chloe, but of course, because I love her, I love all of you lot. But we have our own separate connections. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, like, as an adopted sister, I'm very proud of you. And I just wanted to know, as a parent, since being out, what is the one thing that's most important to you as a parent and as a man, where your child's concerned?
I would genuinely say, being there, because a lot of us guys are more concerned about making sure we pay money, like making sure that part is sorted out.
Sure.
That's very important, but we need to be there as well.
Absolutely.
Of course, we need to work and do all of these things, but we need to make sure we're doing the little things which the mums are doing all the time, like school run, like doing their hair, like of course guys and stuff, like we would take them to the barbers and stuff.
Yeah, great.
Listen, I'm getting there. Listen, the one I did 2 days ago, I didn't video it, but it was the best. It come like your hair, I'm not joking. It was slick. But listen, I was there, I had one foot on the chair. I'm there scraping it back, listen. But anyway, I'm genuinely saying, just being there and just having those little moments, because once they're gone, they're gone.
Absolutely.
And it's like, even though you're there providing, your daughter or your son is not gonna know that. Like, you know what I mean?
They don't
Because
give a
that, because that communication is between the parents.
Absolutely.
They don't know. All they know is that you're not around.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you need to be there. That's
Completely
what I'd
agree.
say.
I'm so glad you gave that answer.
Yeah.
That's
In
probably
our
the
head is
best
thinking,
answer.
be
Yeah.
present.
Be present, man. Like, I think our love for our dads is so heightened, and so the pedestal we put them on, they're never coming off that thing. And it's not even a store, it's actually a throne. Thank you. It's because they were there, they were present, they provided. Yes, absolutely. My dad's still providing for his family, and he's 61. Do you know what I mean? Happy belated birthday, Daddy. I love you.
Big up, Papa G.
I like Papa G. Oh, he's gonna love that. But I think for us, we know what was most important is that our dads were present.
Yeah.
To this day, I mean, you lot saw the pranks.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they pick up.
And you lot are too concerned, isn't it? Bad people, oh my days, will you do that to your dad?
Relax,
Yeah,
man,
it's
alright, man. They're fine. But yeah, man, like, I just think for me as a mother, that is the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
Is for my son's father to be present. I could care less, but I will work my ass into the ground to provide.
As she does.
Yes, thank you, Chloe.
As she does.
That will never change.
I need to say it one more time, as she really does.
Thank you, Chloe. Thank you, I love you. But for me, that's most important, is for my child to have a present father, you know, at matches, at the school gate, you know, to pick up and talk to,
Day to day.
to reason with, just anything to feed, whatever it is, man. Even if it's to take a bike ride to the shop, man, I could care less. Like, just every little moment, because like you said, Corey, we'll never get this back, man.
You won't.
We'll never get this
You won't.
back. Like,
But also as well, I think another quick point is not every dad is able to provide. Of course, by every means,
absolutely.
give what you can, but don't feel because you're not able to provide.
You shouldn't
you're
be there.
You shouldn't be
Yeah.
there.
Thank you.
If anything, you should be there even
More.
more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
what the
So-
hell else are you
in
doing?
other
You're not providing. I love that. I love that. No, it's the truth.
You have to compensate what you need to make.
But I just want to big up the dads that do find that balance and that do go
that
hard
are
for their kids
present.
and make sure that every single element is covered, because but I also want to say to parents as well, man, like, yes, your children come first, but you cannot pour from an empty cup.
100%.
So make sure that your mental's good, your physical's good. Make sure you're doing what you need for you. Find balance in your life. And yes, of course, our children are our first priorities, but if we're not looking after ourselves, we cannot give them the best of us.
100%.
So, yeah, man, big up all the parents, man. Like, big
Well
you lot
done.
up times 10. Big up all the step parents.
Trust me.
And to everybody just striving and trying to make sure that we do our best for them. Like,
Yeah, because there's no manual. No manual.
I feel like I can write one now, though. No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
But your take, everyone can always pull from everyone's experience, but
100%.
big up everyone. We know good parents.
Yeah, we do. Co-parenting. I think parenting is great and can be shit too, not because of the children, because of what it comes with, pressures of life, and sometimes the other parent can make that pressure a bit harder, depending on their participation, right, or their emotions. For me, that has been the hardest part, raising my son, is figuring out a co-parenting balance in the relationship and outside of the relationship. Do you understand? Because you have to understand, when you have a child with someone, it's not like you lot sit there and agree all the preambles to raising a child. I think it's very rare that people do that. It's always this lovey-dovey moment, isn't it? It's just like, yeah, we're gonna have a child. Woo!
You're just free flowing.
Yeah, the child's gonna be buff. I want a boy, you want a girl. Like, what we calling him? It's all like, yeah, like. But no one really talks about the nitty-gritty, like what religion. If there is going to be religion, circumcision, no circumcision.
How are we gonna raise them?
How? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Where? In what capacity? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Who's going to do more at home, or who's going to be more of the breadwinner outside? No one. I think it's very rare that people cover that base. So for me, I think that was and is still one of the biggest challenges I have raising my son. Is sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's really not. For you, what would you say is or has been a challenge co-parenting?
I would probably say, for me, it's seeing certain parenting styles which not that I disagree, but I wouldn't do myself, but where I see it, it's how to address it in a tactful way. it's how do you get the information across without coming across rude or any certain way. Yeah, or offensive. I would definitely say that's something that I found hard in doing, but I think just saying it, it sounds a bit crazy, but just saying it in a relaxed manner sometimes just works, and just getting it out there and actually just communicating through that, you can kind of sometimes find a common ground. But in some ways I've just had to, certain things just kind of like, I wouldn't do it my way, but you know what?
Yeah.
She's good. So yeah.
Makes sense.
Because it has to be a bit of both.
Balance.
It has to be a balance. There has to be. Otherwise, you're constantly going to be knocking heads. Now it's going to be my way. I want her to do it this way. I want her to do it this way. You know what I mean?
I think that's a very good thesis to have. There has to be a balance, and you have to compromise and be open, isn't it, to the other parents' wants and needs of
100%.
the way they're bringing up their child. I would agree with that. I think. You know what it is? I'm very conscious of saying anything that my son might see, and I prefer to keep trials and tribulations pertaining to his parents away from him as much as possible. I think I grew up in a setting where my dad wasn't honest enough and my mum was too honest. Do you know what I mean, about their issues? So I try to give Kyron a balance, be transparent, but also protect his peace, you know, and his energy. And I just think that there's certain things children don't and shouldn't be exposed to. And that's up to us as parents who decided to have them to take on and deal with in silence, or call Chloe and shout down the phone.
This is I think one point which is incredibly key, is of course you're going to argue, especially if you're whether you're co-parents or whatever whatever the dynamic is, but don't argue in front of the children. I think that's something that a lot of parents fall into the habit of doing, but they don't realize how toxic that is. Because your children, they're sponges, so they're absorbing and soaking in every single word you're saying. You may have forgot what you said last week, but your daughter hasn't, your son hasn't.
Thank you.
So you need to, if you want to have a little blowout, wait for them to go to sleep, or wait for them to be at school, or take a step outside into the garden.
We can really control our emotions.
You can.
It's so true.
You really can, because it's important.
I agree. I regret every single moment that my son was exposed to any dispute pertaining to anything to do with his to do with his dad. Do you know what I mean? And so I make a conscious effort to, and actually that's why I'm no longer in a relationship. Do you know? Because I'm not going to raise my child in a turbulent home and in a turbulent situation. I'm not going to do it. I've been through it. He didn't ask to be here, and I don't believe my relationship was greater than the upbringing of my child and the peace of my child, than the well-being of my child. Do you understand? And I know as an adult, I'm currently still unpacking a lot. Mum, Dad, love you lot to death. You lot did an amazing job. Clearly, I'm lit. But however, they learned with me. I was their eldest. Do you know what I mean? I was their firstborn. They learned everything with me. So I got everything. I saw everything. Do you know, I had a front row seat. I don't want that for my son. I feel like if I can change that and I can control that, then I'm going to do that. You know, again, we don't have this for long, you know. So, you know, I told Kai when he's old enough and he decides to leave home, I'm going to be on and off cruises naked with whatever man I feel like.
But right now he's regulated.
Do you get it? So, but while he's young, I'm his.
Regulated.
You know, I'm his, and he never has to worry about anybody else having more of my time or impeding on that. But at the same time, what's sweet is how much you know, Chloe. He wants me to like enjoy. He wants me to be in a partnership, and he wants Roblox money. You know the way they want V-Bucks fees from the man. You get me? So he wants that, and that just tells me I'm raising a really healthy, balanced child, because he's not like it's my mom, and you know. No, he wants me to be happy, and he, you know, and he enjoys the moments where he sees me getting dressed and go, Kai will come zip up my dress and Mom, you look good, and take my pictures, and you know what I mean, like, and I love that. But yeah, I can agree with you at the same time. I think the moments that it gets difficult is when I have to communicate things that I guess I'm not content with pertaining to him, and when those conversations don't always go so well. Sometimes there's a lot of defense, and then that defense turns into just nothingness, you know. So that's the most polite way I can put it. And I'm grateful to his other parent, because without his other parent, I wouldn't have him. He's the biggest blessing in the world, you know, and I just hope that we can get it together the way we had it together before, you know, for his sake. But like you said, there's always going to be different points of challenges. You're always going to fight and argue about different things, and by the grace of God, we'll work through it, you know, and that's it. So, yeah, man, I'm proud of us, guys. I'm not going to lie. I think I've been as politically correct as I can be.
Have.
I have, haven't I?
There's bare things both of you have. Well done.
Yeah, because you've been side-eyeing the whole episode.
No, sometimes I'm like, doing memory check, like, do you get it? But it's okay. It's okay. It's the top line you lot need sometimes. That's the top line.
But yeah, so anyway, so this is episode 3 of Ourjoint. Co-parenting, bit of this and that, bit of mental health. So grateful to have Corey on to have a perspective of a great dad. And a dad who's gone through a variety of challenges as a parent as well. So yeah, man, it's been a dope little conversation. Yeah.
Big you lot up.
Yeah.
Come on.
This one on that side eye the whole episode.
No, because I love their kids. They're proper children, guys.
Yeah.
Keep them up.
Yeah.
So anyway, big up Kyla. Kyla?
Wow, she remixed Kyla. That was good.
Kyla.
See, you heard it. Don't teeth out her name.
Yeah, don't teeth out my name.
Yeah, Kyla. Yeah, come on.
That's nice.
Well done. But yeah, so Chloe wants to have 1, 2, maybe 3. Relax. Them ovaries are ready. So if her husband could hurry the fuck up, because we have time clocks, you see. I think I want 1 more. Now you need to bust out 2 little twins or something, bro. Like
If it's twins, 1.
how can you have 1 twin?
No, I'd all 1. That's what I meant to say, but I missed it all.
We don't have any twins in our family. That's not going to happen.
Then duh, that's why it's just 1.
You don't need to go do the manipulation, pay the people and the money, because your man's going to be
My bitch.
right.
I took it right out of your mouth.
Manifestation, no, I'm joking. No, more than anything, he's going to be blessed, okay? He's going to be blessed and he's going to be God-fearing.
Amen.
A good man. But yeah, now listen, big up all the parents. Thank you for tuning in. I think all the handles will be down, like I think I've seen from
Yeah, we'll put them in.
And yeah, man, we'll see you at episode 4.
Thanks, guys.